Am I wrong for taking a question too literally? I am a 25-year-old autistic woman. I am not the best with people, but I'm not completely socially inept either. I just find that my thought processes are a little different than most people's, and it can be difficult to connect. I'm not an actually type of person, I'm not even that smart, but I'm super detail-driven. I love diving into the tiniest parts of things. And it can be hard to gauge how people react. I've had many wonderful conversations that have centered on picking apart the technicalities of hypothetical situations. I've also had people tell me it's pedantic and obnoxious, so it just depends on what the other person is into, I guess. I do usually know what not to do this with personal matters, most current events, anything hurtful, etc. It's more hypothetical or historical things that interest me. My roommate had friends over this weekend for a small party. Her and I get along well, but we don't spend a lot of time together, so I initially wasn't hanging out with them. I was painting in my room instead. I went to the kitchen to change my water cup out and they were in there, discussing a hypothetical. They asked my opinion because the group was divided and I ended up sitting down with them and having a few drinks. The conversation shifted over different topics, but this was exactly my thing and I was having a great time. Eventually, the question, what event in history would you get rid of if you could, came up. Everyone else in the group chose the really terrible parts of history: American slavery, the Holocaust, genocides, etc. I chose a small personal event, a hospitalization when I was a child. Several people immediately said how selfish that was, but my thoughts are that changing any large historical events would alter the lives of everyone today, and I didn't like the idea of me making that choice for everyone, so therefore, the most logical choice was to only change my own life, because I am the only one to consent. Someone asked me if I would really choose my own relatively minor illness over something like chattel slavery, and I said yes, because choosing to erase slavery would be poofing millions of people out of existence today, and I didn't think that should be my choice to make. Of course, it would be better to have never happened at all, but it's too big of an event to remove from the timeline without unexisting huge swaths of people. People got really upset, but to me, this was a game of hypotheticals. It's not like I was given this opportunity in real life and was holding a summit to figure out what to choose. I think my thought process is logical. It's not about what I want, it's about not making choices for other people. But some of the group is posting stuff about me being pro-slavery, which I think is a really disingenuous way to frame what I said. My boyfriend fully understands how I think and knows what I am trying to say, but thinks maybe it would have been better to say what they wanted to hear and keep my thoughts about altering the timeline to myself. Am I wrong for taking my mom's side and calling my GF a toddler? I'm 33 male, half Filipino on my mother's side, my GF is 30 female, white. I have a 2-year-old son with a good friend of mine, long story, not relevant here. We share custody, but we're never really together. My GF and son get along great. We have been dating for 10 months. She hasn't met my parents yet because of COVID, and they live in another state. My mom invited us both to her house for a holiday, and we accepted. Me, my GF and son took a 1-week trip to Seattle where my mom lives, and visited her house one evening for dinner. All my siblings were there with their families. Everyone met my GF, things were going great. The kids were eating at their own little table, 9 cousins all together, and us, adults, were at another table. My mom served the food and we ate. It was mainly Filipino food, but she made very plain side dishes as well: mashed potatoes, plain rice, steamed veggies, etc., for everyone to choose, in case someone didn't like the Filipino dishes too much. My GF then just said to me, "This food is gross." I told her that's really rude and not to say that to my mother. My mom then asked everyone how the food is, and we all said it's great. My sister-in-law joked, as she always does, "Way too spicy for me, I better stick to broccoli and rice," and my GF said it's pretty inedible. My mother was hurt, and she called my GF rude and impolite. I agreed. My GF got angry at me and called me an AH. I told her if she wants to act like a toddler, she is free to join my son at the kids' table. Am I the AH? Am I wrong for telling my dad he needs to control his other daughters better, or I'll move in with another family member? So I, 15 female, have been living with my dad, 36 male, full-time after my mom passed away almost a year ago. He is married to my stepmom, 34 female, and has 2 daughters with her. My little sisters are the classic little sisters who want to be like their big sister. They are also very nosy and constantly touching stuff in my room. It can be pretty annoying. Yesterday, I was at my grandparents', on my mom's side, for most of the day. I came home to see a snow globe broken on the floor in my room. Context: all my snow globes are on the top shelf of my bookshelf, which I can reach, but not without a chair, to make sure I'm careful and not break anything. So 2 8-year-olds definitely can't reach it properly. I noticed, it was one of my mom's snow globes that she had since high school and it gave to me when I was a kid. I almost started crying when I see it broke. I ran downstairs to my dad and stepmom asking why one of my snow globes was broken on the ground in my room. My sisters admitted to climbing the bookshelf trying play with my snow globes. I was so upset, I lost it and told my dad and stepmom they need to teach them not to mess with my things. My stepmom tried saying it's just a snow globe and I need to relax. I told her it was one of my mom's from when she was young and that her daughters should have waited until I got home. I would have gladly got my snow globes for them to play with for a little bit, but instead they had to be impatient and now one that was very special to me is broken. My dad's head was down. I then said, "Dad, honestly, I'm tired of them constantly messing with my stuff. They know not to do this, but they still do. I have been very patient, but if this keeps happening, I might have to move in with my grandparents or something." Before my dad could say anything, my stepmom said I'm taking things too far and I'm acting like a brat. My dad later apologized and said he'll try to work on having the girls go in my room and mess with his stuff whenever they please. I could tell he was upset by what I said. My stepmom keeps acting like I'm the bad person in the situation. I don't want stuff like this to keep happening, otherwise, I would rather want to live with my grandparents. So am I the AH? Am I wrong for telling my friend I don't want to plan her wedding if I'm not in the wedding party? My friend and I have been really close friends for about 8 years now, and even were considered best friends in high school. Having graduated and become adults now, we have lost a bit of that friendship, but we always pick up where we left off when we do see each other. We've done a lot for each other and have overall very similar tastes, and so on. Fast forward to now, my friend shares the news with me that she is engaged. I'm so excited for her and I'm really happy for her future with this man. She tells me she wants my help with her wedding planning and that she finds we have very similar tastes. She says she wants me to do this as I have an eye for this type of thing and that I'm very creative. Later on, however, she says that she would love to have me as a bridesmaid but doesn't have the space for me to be in the actual wedding party. Honestly, this really hurt my feelings, and I expressed this to her as I thought I would be a bridesmaid. She tells me she would try to make room for me, but I could still be part of the wedding party by helping coordinate, greet people, handing out favors, or something of the sort. I found this to be a bit insulting and told her I would think about it. This role was something I did for my cousin's weddings when I was a child, like handing out bubbles. She said she wants help picking out the bridesmaids' dresses, and that I could wear a different dress in the same color to show that I was part of the wedding party. She doesn't trust her bridesmaid to plan the wedding and bridal shower for her, so she wants me to help do it. The only thing I would not be planning would be the bachelorette party. I feel like those hours be up to her bridesmaids, and I don't understand why she would want me to be so involved, but not actually be in the wedding party. So am I the AH for not wanting to plan her wedding?